How's it going, gents? Here in my garage, sorry for the echo, for a bit of story time. As the title says, I was hit by a drunk driver on my CBR 1000RR. That is not clickbait. The bike is not completely dead, but will never see the road again. I will explain very quickly what happened. Let me just chuck this on the tripod and I will show you using 2 scale models. Yes, my CBR was taller than a Jeep, but anyway. All right, so long story short, picture nighttime in the wet, a little bit hard to see, me and car. There was a turn there that was a green light, so if you were a car, you'd stop at the green light, wait for traffic, and then you could turn. So basically, we were traveling down the road at the exact same time, coming to that intersection, and at the very last second, he completely thought I did not exist and turned in front of me. And I swerved. I only had about a microsecond, basically just went to lean over pretty much to swerve and then hit him. I hit him right on the corner, basically my fork and his front, and then kind of bounced off the car. I hit and just went straight over. So I went over the handlebars, did basically a front flip, landed on my backpack and slid down the road. We were both doing about 60 k's an hour, so it was a pretty hard hit. My bike just went bam, and over on that side and then slid up the road. Now I was on the road pretty okay, nothing actually really happened. I was very lucky, just flew over the handlebars and slid down the road on my backpack. No real injuries at all. I did kind of stand up and faint just because the shock wore in a bit, but I was pretty good. The guy wasn't too nice in the car. I think he knew he'd screwed up, and when the police came, he said he was drinking, and that's kind of the last I saw of him. I was just put in an ambulance, so I didn't get to see much, but there was police and 2 witnesses, and they all said I was in the right, which is all good. Unfortunately, he did not have insurance, and then started the 2-month battle of trying to get a cent out of him. Basically, I won't bore you with details, but if you know me, you know I've had 2 motorcycles stolen before. Actually, 3 motorcycles, sorry. 3 motorcycles stolen before, so my insurance is really expensive. And this bike was actually stolen before, this WR. Stolen, and I bought it back about a year later. So I had 3 bikes stolen, my insurance is really expensive. So I didn't have full comprehensive insurance, which meant I kind of needed to get money out of this guy who hit me. And yeah, I wasn't gonna get any money out of him. So my insurance company basically said, we have a clause. So I had basically insurance to cover the other party if I had an accident, but nothing to cover me because it was too expensive for me to get with my insurance record of having 3 motorbikes stolen. So they had a special clause where they could write the bike off because it was damaged to the point of repairs is too expensive. It was like $12,000 to repair it, which is just ridiculous. Considering I bought it for like $7,000, my CBR. So they paid me out $5,000 as the max they could pay me out. They're gonna sue and do whatever to the guy. Basically, it was gonna take me way too long to sue the guy and get any money out. So I took my $5,000, they wrote the bike off so it can't be ridden on the road, but I got to keep the bike, which was pretty cool. So I got basically $5,000 and I got the bike back, but it's written off, which means it can't be ridden on the road. So it's not registered, as you'll see. No number plate, all gone. It can be brought back. You just need to fix everything that was damaged and get it inspected. Basically, I did that for this bike. It's a bit easier with a dirt bike because it's cheap to kind of repair stuff, but this was written off. I got paid out for an insurance. I bought it back from an insurance auction, went through the whole process, got it re-registered, and that's back. I could do the same thing with this, but I'm thinking, well, track bike. Perfect time to make it a dedicated track bike. So you'll notice that there's the SC Project exhaust, the road exhaust was destroyed. No number plate, no mirrors or anything. So it's gonna basically just become a track bike. And we'll see what I do with it in the future. So basically you're probably thinking, but Tom, the bike's fine. Why was it written off? That's what I was pretty amazed about. So basically the damage was, this was slightly bent in, so that all needed to be, when it comes to insurance, if anything's damaged, they have to replace it. So that's why it gets very expensive. But this was ever so slightly bent, not a problem if you're a normal person, but insurance written off, so all replaced. The exhaust is destroyed, all replaced. Luckily I had 2 SC Project exhausts. The forks weren't bent, but they did have a slight dent in there. Now it's not actually affecting anything, it's not pissing out oil or anything. I have ridden the bike a few times since I crashed it, so that's probably good enough for me. And all panel damage, so these panels are kind of broken at the bottom. I'm just gonna fix them up, and scratched on the other side. But yeah, not a lot of damage, like it's pretty good actually. So yes, basically now my CBR is a dedicated track bike. I won't be riding on the road anymore, but do not fear, fellow subscribers. I took that $5,000 and put it towards a new road bike, which I actually have. I have 2 garages. There's this one, and then there's one on the other side where my Jeep is, and my new road bike's in that garage, because you don't get to see that just yet. My next video, I will be revealing it. So get excited. There's gonna be a new road bike coming, and it's pretty awesome. It is, it's cooler than the Fireblade. I'll say that much. I'm not gonna say anything else. But while I'm here, I just wanna shout out, if you've seen me before on my dirt bike, you might have noticed that I use these iPhone mounts called quad locks. So basically you have your iPhone, and on the case you have a super easy to attach mount like that. Basically I was using it on my push bike and I loved it so much I thought I've got to adapt this to be able to work on my dirt bike, because it is the strongest mount I've found. I've had a phone come off to an X grip. I've seen Nerb's phone come off to his X grip a few times. So when I was using this on my push bike, I'm like, I'm getting one for my dirt bike. Now, at the time they didn't have dirt bike mounts, so I actually made my own using a RAM mount, and then I cable tied it on. And I did the same thing with my Jeep. There's one of these in the Jeep, so in my Jeep videos you'll notice that my phone was mounted on one of them. They're the strongest. You can go over bloody corrugations or anything and it holds up. But so Quadlock emailed me, and they mustn't have known that I've been using Quadlock for years, because they're like, hey, we're Quadlock and we make these things. And I'm like, dude, I already know, like I use this shit all the time. They're like, we're making motorcycle mounts now. I was so excited because I was already using these on my motorcycle, so now they have specific motorcycle ones. So now you don't need to make your own kind of jerry-rigged one. They make them for you. So that's another Australian product. These guys are in Melbourne that makes this, which is crazy because it's an awesome product and it's just like down the road from me. That's an Australian product as well. These stands, they're called Dynamoto. They're in, I believe, in Queensland. They messaged me and said, hey, do you want to try out our new stands that have cool wheels and roll around? And I was like, oh my God, where were you 2 years ago? I used to live in an apartment and I had one car spot where I needed to fit a car, a 690 and a S1000RR, and it was so hard to get it all the way at the end. These stands have wheels, so they just roll around any way. Like that's the rear. So basically you take this pole and you pull it up, and then it's on wheels. So it can be used as a normal race stand, but then if you want to use the wheels, then it makes it so easy for moving around in your garage. The front's got one as well, and it just makes it, oh, it's so easy to wheel the thing around. Like, I don't really have enough room here. Anyway. So there you go. That would take you bloody 10 minutes if you didn't have those stands. That's how easy it is. These stands are fantastic. And I thought, while I'm shouting out Australian products, you might have seen this before, but these guys from Melbourne as well. This is Flying Solo gear. This is like a very strong case for your phone, keys, purse or anything. And it just kind of just sits on your side when you run a sports bike. And you know, if you come off, it should maybe protect your phone better than just if it was in your pocket or in your jacket. But they're Australian companies as well, so I thought I'd shout them out while I'm doing crazy shout outs for Aussie companies. So yeah, I'm not gonna bore you any longer with just a boring garage video, but this is now track bike, so I'm gonna be taking this to the track and going harder on it. I don't really know about putting track fairings or anything on it just yet, because I mean, these fairings are all kind of rashed up anyway from the crash, so I'm like, I might as well just leave these on, and if I do have a crash at the track, then I'll get some new fairings for it, track fairings or something. WR's going great. I've been doing a lot of camping and stuff, that's why it's on the trailer right now. But yeah, and in this garage is the new road bike that you'll be seeing in the next video. It might take me a week or two to film the reveal, just because I've got VidCon in Melbourne this weekend, so I don't really have time to film it, but I will film it and I will show you my awesome new road bike. I absolutely love it. It's freaking cool. Buy Australian stuff, because we're Australian and we don't make much stuff, so please buy our stuff, or don't, I don't mind. They're not paying me. I just like it. These stands are fantastic. Quarter lock's fantastic. So that's it, guys. Next video, reveal video. Hopefully, get excited.